Behind the plant life in El Valle. This picture is an example of a novia flower. However, this particular part of the flower is the sporophyte. Like any other seed flower, the novia flower reproduces sexually, using pollen grains. A distinctive characteristic is how the novia flowers grow together in a couple.
This picture is an example of the fiddlehead, an undeveloped sporophyte structure of the fern. Fiddleheads or ferns in general reproduce asexually due to the spores found on the leaf-like parts of the plant. A distinctive characteristic is its unusual curled-up form, just like a snail shell.
This is an example of a moss plant, in which the gametophyte is the most dominant structure. Moss reproduces sexually, in which spores found in the spore cases eventually grow to become gametophyte. A distinctive characteristic of moss is how they're categorized as non-vascular plants, which means they don't have tissue or vessels that are able to carry water.
This is a picture of an orchid. This particular plant is a sporophyte. Like any other flower, seeds are produced in the ovary during sexual reproduction. A distinctive characteristic of orchids are their distinctive petals, which are usually colorful.
This picture is an example of a fern, in which this particular part is the sporophyte, the only stage visible to the human eye. Ferns reproduce asexually, in which spores are found on the leaf-like parts of the plant. A distinctive characteristic of the fern is how some carry coiled leaves known as fiddleheads.
A particular part of the plant, as shown in the picture, is the undeveloped sporophyte, as it is not fully grown yet. A distinctive characteristic is how pink-like bananas grow along the flower. Being a seed plant, we can conclude that it reproduces sexually.
This picture is an example of a heliconia. Particularly, we are looking at the sporophyte stage. Just like any other flower, this is a seed plant in which they produce sexually using seeds. The distinctive characteristic of the heliconia is how their inflorescences can have a variety of colors.
This particular structure is the liverwort, and it is shown as the gametophyte. Liverworts are spore-producing plants using spores to reproduce asexually. A distinctive characteristic is how, unlike moss, liverworts are tiny and sometimes too small to be seen by the human eye.